What's going on, guys? I have an awesome deal for you right now at hostile.com. It's a buy one, get one free on the Samson Dauda Bloodshot. If you go to hostile.com, you see this pineapple, add to cart. When you get to the cart, accept the shipping terms and then checkout. And then at checkout, you're going to put for your code, you're going to put BOGO SD and then apply. And that's going to give you one of these for free, and then you check out. So, guys, get to hostile.com right now. Get the Samson Dauda Bloodshot, either flavor, the pineapple or the grape. Put both in your cart. Use BOGO SD at checkout and get one for free. Thank you guys for the support. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Real Bodybuilding Podcast News. I'm here with Suki from BTS TV. What do we got right now?
Okay, we got quite a lot to catch up on the weekend because, of course, yesterday was the China Pro and the Argentina. So I think the perfect place to start is 212, SHAUN CLARIDA. He ends the 2025 season with another win. Him and John Jewett have nailed it over the past few shows. So SHAUN CLARIDA, I think if you go onto TFE page, there we go. In fact, this was a video. So here, SHAUN CLARIDA, first place China, unanimous win. I think we all knew he was going to take the title over there. But once again, I think we just want to point out there was some comments made about, why is SHAUN going over to China? He's already qualified for Olympia. Let other people try and win a ticket. SHAUN's comments were adamant. Look, I'm going there. One, I'm a professional. Two, it's about the fans in China, letting them have the opportunity to see him on stage as well as the other competitors who may never get to Olympia have an opportunity to compete at one of the best ever in the 212 division.
I think SHAUN looks awesome, man. I think this is great. When I watched this from the start, him and John have figured something out, and the resurgence of his physique is phenomenal. John is quickly going to become one of the greatest coaches in bodybuilding if this keeps up, because it's not, how can I put this? It's one thing to see a bodybuilder that's great work with a coach and then all of a sudden, look a little better. It's another thing for a bodybuilder that people have written off and has not had his greatest looks show up with a new coach and bring back what we all expect and look forward to seeing from SHAUN. And that's what we're seeing. This is maybe my favorite SHAUN that we've ever seen. Like, this is, to me, almost better than when he was winning Mr. Olympias. Just the fullness in the look of his muscle, like everything looks really fresh. And as far as him competing goes, look, we already discussed this on a previous one. I think SHAUN should go out and do as many shows as he wants. He should win them all. And that's what bodybuilding is. And it's not about, hey, save some room for others. That's not competition. You would never say that in another sport. You wouldn't say it in a fighting sport. You wouldn't say it in one of the major sports. The guy competing should go out and compete, should kick everybody's ass, take all their places if he can. That's what competition's about. And you know what? If you want to beat them, then go beat them. If you want your place at the Olympia, go beat SHAUN CLARIDA and take your place. There's no reason for him to sit out. If he wants to compete, travel the world, then he should do that.
I guess now the question that you just pointed out, and I think a lot of people have was agreeing with that statement, that this may have been the best SHAUN we've seen in quite a long time. And that's not even saying that the SHAUN we saw at Olympia was brilliant. The SHAUN we saw over at, what was the other show he did? I can't remember, Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Japan, obviously he was over in Mexico as well. So he's done 3 shows since Olympia. But now the real talk is about Olympia 2026. We clearly have seen, as you pointed out, John and SHAUN have nailed it, and now give them 9 months until the Olympia. Keon obviously has left his previous coach, and it looks like he's just working with his fiance. I want to say wife. It's one or the other. The question is now what does SHAUN need to do to topple Keon? Because Keon was at his best at Olympia, and he still couldn't beat him.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Look, I think Keon is a special bodybuilder. The fact that he's working with his significant other as his coach is tricky. That could end up good. It could end up bad. It could end up the same. We don't know yet. We saw it work with Samson, but we don't know for sure if it's going to work with Keon. The thing is, I think the problem is this. Keon is such a good bodybuilder that even if he just stays the same, Sean's got an uphill battle. And I think it's just a structural thing. Like Sean was able to beat other guys that he was smaller than structurally because he was put together so well, muscularity wise. Every body part fits together well. Every body part's so round and full. The insertions are perfect. So he's able to beat other 212 guys or even open guys that maybe don't have as pretty a shape, but are structurally bigger. The problem with Keon is we have a guy who's just as pretty and just as perfect muscularity wise, but also is structurally bigger. So I don't know if Sean's going to be able to beat him. They have an interesting storyline in that Sean has found a coach that is able to bring him at his best and has a full year to figure that out to be even better. And Keon is entering new territory. So we don't know what that's going to bring. So that could be the only, storyline and dichotomy, that like the only part that kind of we can hinge that storyline on.
Do you think if Keon, because we only really see Keon in a 212. My God, I'm still on it. I think I said that earlier. 212.
Say now just to piss everybody off.
We see Keon with 212 once a year. The judges all see him on that one occasion. If he does miss the marks like he did this year, because he wasn't able to bring his best, the judges see that, and they see SHAUN CLARIDA actually make improvements from what was a fantastic look this year. Mm-hmm. Is there a place where that Sean could actually overtake Keon if Keon just doesn't bring it again 2 years in a row?
I think it'd have to be a Keon mistake. Like I think for Sean to beat Keon has to be off. I think either the stomach has to be a little bit distended, or the conditioning maybe isn't where it needs to be. That's something that we have to see. I think if Keon is got his stomach in check and is in shape, I think Sean's got an uphill battle. I don't think it's impossible. I think Sean can potentially beat Keon. I have to see them stand next to each other. Some people thought Sean beat Keon at this year's prejudging. Now, again, Keon had a problem with his stomach, and I think that was one of the hindrances this year at the Olympia, and why some people thought Sean beat Keon at prejudging. So that's what I mean, is something has to be off with Keon for Sean to pull ahead. I think if Keon is on, stomach's in check, it's still his show to lose.
Well, look, talk about another guy who got a win on the weekend. I'm going to touch on men's physique very quickly. Edvan, we actually talked about him on the previous episode from Brazil.
I like Edvan's physique.
Yes. So this was his second win post-Olympia, which means the number 5 in the world is back at the Olympia, which means his next show will be the Arnold Classic before maybe he might shut it down to Olympia, because he's definitely one of the guys that people should be worried about as being a contender for the Olympia title. So I think if you go onto Edvan's page, you might be able to see a video of himself on stage. I know he did post something. Here we go.
All right.
I also got a shout out, like the China production when the guys are coming out is just incredible.
Oh, right? This is crazy. I got to figure this out. I got to figure this out for Detroit.
Just add some context. World. This was his second pro win post Olympia, so now he's back on the Olympia stage. He will be next on the Arnold Classic. It was a dominating win. There were no real major threats. We had Kamal from Morocco, but he was at the Olympia this year. Edvan, look, Ryan loves his physique, Aaron, Brandon, all the guys know this guy is a genuine threat. He's yet to get above the top 5 at Olympia. There is an argument that maybe now he has some time to make some improvements, go into the Arnold's and Olympia. Maybe 2026 could be the year that Brazil could see a men's physique Olympia champion of their own.
Sure. Look, I don't know much about men's physique, but just breaking down the physique itself, he's pretty phenomenal. I think if we're talking about some areas where he could improve, the shoulders could probably cap off a little bit more. As you can see, it's crazy to say this because people will think I'm being nitpicky, but you have to be when you're talking about the best in the world. When you look at his shoulders, they're pretty phenomenal, but they slope a little bit.
Yeah.
And when I say that, you see that slope, how it comes to trap and then slopes down in the delt. If you have a little bit more cap there, and he probably can with maybe posing, but also to build a little more muscle in the delt, would have that cap off a little bit more. That's one area I can see that some of the other guys are a little bit better. And then in the back, a little bit more lat, a little bit more chest, and then tighter in the waist. He's got everything and he's almost there, but I feel like it needs to be a little bit more pronounced if he's going to beat guys like Ryan Terry, Aaron Banks, and somebody. See that? The back is almost perfect. He's got great shoulders, good upper trap, mid trap. The lat here is a little bit weak. So I think that area is where I could see more development needed to, if he's going to overcome that top 5. But that's just my assessment of the men's physique category for what it's worth.
Well, I'm looking forward to your next assessment because now we can go to your new favorite category, bikini. Ashley Cole-Wasser, number Pro 55 win. Yes, guys, that's 55 pro wins for the bikini goat, 3-time Olympic champion, 2-time Arnold Classic champion. We already know she's back at the Arnolds in 2026, but she's ended 2025 with her 55th pro win. So we'll just touch on this one very briefly because, look, she has got the record for most number of pro wins. She's just, I mean, how old is she now? I believe I want to say 36.
Yeah.
Maybe pushing to 37. I'm going to hold her 36. But she's showing no signs of slowing down. And I expect for her in 2026 to try and break the 60 pro wins next year.
Yeah, I mean, if I was her, I'd try and go for 100 wins before she retires. That's not it. Sorry. But yeah, that's pretty incredible. And congratulations. I don't have much to say. Again, amazing physique, but to say that you won 55 pro shows has got to be incredible.
Well, you have something to say about the next one. Sam Sulek. Sam Sulek's now obviously, he's doing a lot. Well, look, he's got his daily updates, his physique updates, and I think if he actually did a post, he does very rare Instagram posts, but he did one talk about the 12 weeks out mark, 12 weeks out from the Arnolds, from making his pro debut. There's no doubt that there is going to be a lot of excitement, a lot of anticipation, a lot of hype in Sam making his debut. Look, Fouad, you know the guy very well. What's your thoughts of the improvements that Sam has been making over the last 12 months?
Look, I think Sam is a bodybuilder. I don't see Sam as a classic physique. When I look at this physique, it's still, as far as like in the classic category, it's still a little thin through the limbs. He's got a nice rib cage. It's full. He pulls a good vacuum. I don't know if we can see any of that here. Probably not. But he's got kind of a bigger structure through the torso and a little bit thinner through the limbs. And if you're going to compete with the guys, at the best, like he's here with Chris, if you're going to compete with those guys, it's just you need to be more balanced. And I don't know if he's there yet. He's still young. Like I said, I think he's only 23 right now or something like that. So he's got a lot of time. The Arnold is a big show to enter for, this is his pro debut, correct?
Pro debut after winning his pro card at the amateur show last year.
Look, I think there's probably, this is my opinion for whatever it's worth, there's probably some outside voices that have convinced him to do the Arnold for whatever reason. I don't think it's a horrible idea. You're going to get all the people there to see you. You're going to get, most of the bodybuilding world pays attention to the bigger shows like the Arnold and the Olympia. The thing is, if you want to make an impact, I don't know if this is the show to do it at. I just think Sam is really young. He's 23. He's got a lot of time to build that physique. He needs to build the limbs up to match the torso. It's going to take some time. I think if I wanted to get my feet wet, I would probably do something a little smaller. Detroit, maybe, or I'm just joking. But I had to throw that in there because you guys know who's coming. But honest to God, and this is just the way I thought, and maybe this is the wrong thinking. Like some people say, hey, jump head first into the biggest show of the world. And you can do that, and maybe you should. The thing is, if you're asking me if he's going to win, I don't think he's ready yet. To stand with somebody like Menegate or Wesley Vissers or somebody of that stature, he needs to balance out the physique a little bit more. And it's just going to take some time still.
So yeah, I mean, I think look, I don't blame for doing the Arnold Classic. I think he pretty much mentioned it even after he won his pro card at the Arnold's, because of course straight away you earn the right to compete at the Arnold Classic, and when there's only you're not going to say no. So, and we also know he's going to do the Arnold UK, which, to be fair, I would imagine people like Mike Sommerfeld, Wesley will still be coming over. But yeah, I mean, Detroit is right in the middle. I mean, maybe he. I mean, look, he did say when I did speak to did an interview with him at the Olympia, he did mention that he was looking to do a few shows in the pro ranks. He didn't want to do one or two. He wanted to go for a few. So if we are looking at that period, then yeah, I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed for you that we do see Sam Sulek in Detroit.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I hope so. I mean, it would make sense, because if you're trying to get, like, look, I'm hoping the guys like Wesley, Mike, Menegate, any of them might come over to Detroit as well. So you're going to have, he's got a tough road. If you're going to pick these shows, these kind of shows, you're going against the best. And two things are going to happen. One, you might not win, but two, you get your test yourself against the best lineup, or one of the better lineups in the IFBB. And then, so like I said, I don't think this is a bad idea. It wouldn't be my route, but he's got an uphill battle for sure.
Look, before we finish off, I know we spoke about this beforehand, and I just want to talk about. I got sent this about 20 times. I did send it over to yourself afterwards, because I was just keen to hear your thoughts. But Mine Fitzwater, so did a Q&A on his Instagram story, and a question came up about the breakup, a split between himself and yourself, a hostile.
Yeah.
And I just want to read this out and then get your thoughts on this. So he said, the question was, are you still cool with Fouad? First part, great. Yeah, for sure. Wish him and team all the very best. The second paragraph is the interesting part. And this is where he says, other than every time I do a show, he continues to predict everyone is going to beat me. You'd think he'd learn not to doubt me.
These guys, I swear these guys have the biggest egos ever, but I think that's why you're bodybuilders, right? Okay, let's look at the facts. So tell me exactly what that second paragraph said.
Okay, I know where you're going with this as well. Okay, second paragraph. Other than every time I do a show, he continues to predict everyone is going to beat me. You'd think he'd learn not to doubt me. Emoji.
Okay. So if somebody says I doubt them or don't believe in them, why would I pay them a boatload of money? So if I bring you on to my team, there could be a couple reasons, right? Somebody who sponsors an athlete, they sponsor the athlete because maybe they got a huge fan base and I want to try and bring that fan base to my company. Or maybe they have a bright future and you're like, I'm going to bring this person onto my company and they have a bright future. I'm going to grow with this person. I don't think I've ever signed anybody strictly for their fan base. Even when I signed Sam had, I don't remember. I think he was getting like 30,000 views or 40,000 views on YouTube, a video, which is still big, but
It's just starting out.
it was just kind of starting out. And when I signed him because I'm like, okay, he's got a good fan base and he's really active, but he's also a great bodybuilder. Like this guy, and I was hoping he was going to be a bodybuilder, not classic. But I was like, this guy's got a great physique and a great work ethic. So I'm like, so I've always been the kind of person who signed someone because I thought they were great. And if you look at my track record, everybody I've signed has become like Nick has only gotten better. Justin Shire won a show after he left the company. Martin, of course, after we signed him before he took fifth at the Olympia last year, not this previous year, but in 24. So we signed him before that. Before I signed him, I think he had gotten let go from Rise. Like, I don't know. He wasn't signed with anybody and he hadn't placed well. He hadn't really done anything. He not that he hadn't done anything, but he hadn't done the things as grand as he has now. So I signed him before he took fifth at the Olympia the first time. So that's obviously belief in him. And if you look at Samson, same thing. When I signed Samson, he was taking when I signed Samson, he was fifth at a small show. And then next thing you know, 4 years later, he's Mr. Olympia. So I never signed people for just influence. I signed people because I thought they were going to be great. So it bothers me to hear maybe this person should stop doubting me. That's a very childish thing to think when someone has paid you a boatload of money because they believe in you, right? So it doesn't make any sense. And secondly, let's look at the facts here. If you go back and look at any of the Olympia predictions for 2025, you'll see that I had Martin in fifth place. Okay. Now, maybe that bothered him, but Martin ended up in fifth place. So I'm not picking, I'm not going to say Martin's first place if I don't think he's first place. Like, that's that. Like, what do you want me to say? Does he want me to say Martin's going to win the Olympia? No, because then I lose my own credibility, right? So people think I'm biased to Samson when I say Samson's going to win the Olympia. No, I actually think he's going to win the Olympia, right? So you can say I'm biased, but I actually believe he's going to win the Olympia. Martin's not ready. Martin's just not there yet. So I put him in fifth. Well, he ended up in fifth. And in the previous show in Pittsburgh, I think I might have even predicted him first or second in Pittsburgh. So there, I did predict him higher than he was. He ended up in third. In the last show, this is not rocket science. Samson beat him at the Olympia. And Samson was way off. So when it came to Prague, I was like, Samson's probably going to beat him in Prague because Samson's going to rebound. He's going to be better. And since he already beat him at the Olympia, he's probably going to beat him again in Prague. And I think 85% of the bodybuilding world probably thought the same thing. And so when Martin says he should stop doubting me, I guess you're talking to the entire rest of the bodybuilding world as well, because not many people had Martin beating Samson in Prague. The comment itself really is upsetting, because when you run a company, and I've talked to other owners that have athletes. When you run a company, you pay athletes quite a bit of money, and you pay them. Look, every owner has their own agenda for why they've signed an athlete. When I pay an athlete, yes, I'm not going to lie. I have a business. I'm trying to promote my business. I want this person to promote my business. But judging by my track record, you can see that when I've signed somebody, it's because I want them to grow with the company. And I think that they're going to be great. And I'm like, I want to ride that train and want to become great with you. So when he says he should stop doubting me, it's just upsetting, because I'm like, that doesn't make any fucking sense, according to the fact that I just gave you a contract when nobody else was looking at you. So to me, it's a childish comment. I don't know. I'll just leave it at that. I mean, whatever. People can make up their own minds.
Can I ask as well, when before Martin left to join Raw, did you guys was there like a negotiation? Was there a counter offer? Was there anything you put forward to Martin to maybe stop him from leaving, or give him what you feel was best for business on your terms?
Originally, I thought to myself, see, look, the company's going through some restructuring. And originally I thought to myself, let's try and hold on to him. Maybe we'll bring on his girlfriend, because I think he wanted to bring on his girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
But I think me and ownership had a meeting, and we said, look, it's just not, we kind of want to go in a different direction now. The athlete thing is good for us, but we think we want to put our efforts into something different. So when he said he wanted to leave, at first I wanted to hold on to him, but then I said, look, I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to bring on your girlfriend, and we probably want to go a little bit different direction. And Martin wanted something else. So I think it was kind of mutual, in which we were both like, okay, this is just, we're going to go a little bit different ways. So, but I was fine. Like I've talked to Martin since, and I was like, that's why this whole comment's a little bit shocking. It's like, and look, the other thing too is people have to understand, aside from me sponsoring him, aside from Martin, aside from this, people have to understand this is entertainment. Okay. We're doing bodybuilding analysis, and we're doing predictions, and we're doing whatever. I know people can take this personally. I've had other bodybuilders mad at me for not placing them in a certain place, or putting them in second instead of first, or putting them fifth instead of third. I've already had a few different people be mad at me for these things. There's nothing I can do about it. Look, you're doing your business. I'm doing mine. Your business is to make your physique look the fucking best it can and convince the world that you are in this second, third, fourth, first, whatever fucking place you want to be. My job is to decide if you're there or not. And it's only my opinion. It doesn't mean anything. It's my opinion. People can choose to watch and agree or disagree. I'm not in the job of influencing people to believe that someone is going to be bad or good. I'm just in the job of saying what I see. If I see that Martin is first, I'm going to say Martin's first. Martin's the best in the whole world. If Martin's got the physique of a Mr. Olympia, I will be the first to say Martin looks like a Mr. Olympia. If I don't think he's there, I'm going to say he's just not there yet. But it's not personal. It has nothing to do with me trying to influence the audience. It has nothing to do with me trying to and people think that with Samson too. When Samson wasn't first, like the first time he did the Olympia, right? They're like, where's Samson going to place? I think I had him like 8th or something like that. And then he took 6th and we were like overjoyed. We were all like, I was so happy for him. We're all like, holy fuck, this is awesome. But I didn't have him winning the Olympia the first time he did the Olympia. I didn't have him winning the Olympia until and I think even after he took 5th, I think the next year when I predicted, I think I had him in 2nd or 3rd. So I'm just going to call what I see. It doesn't mean I'm right. It doesn't mean I'm the fucking best predictor of bodybuilding and all of bodybuilding. All it is just my opinion on my channel. And if it pisses you off, too fucking bad. That's just all there is to it. I'm doing my job. This is my job. This is what I like to do. I have fun doing it. And if you take it that seriously, then that's your problem, not mine. That's the end of it.
Nothing else to say.
Nothing else to say. All right. That's the news for December 15th. Like, subscribe, share. Check out the BTS channel on Instagram and hostile.com for all their awesome products. Until then, we will catch you guys tomorrow.